What's going on, you guys? This is your boy Ben Mahari here, represent MehariNation Sports Podcast. Salute to the entire LDBC. Salute to the greater basketball community. Welcome to episode 6 of Basketball Conversations. This is essentially a makeup episode because I missed my time slot on Friday. Um, it was out doing some things with family, so you know, time to make up for it. So we're here. So let's get down to it. And by the way, make sure to tune in to 78 Sports TV's live stream at 7 p.m. Central Time. Where we're going to be dropping down some heat on boxing. Okay? So, we don't got much time to spare, so let's get down to it. Okay? So, earlier this afternoon, um, some sad news coming out of the NBA today. Um, Rookie sensation Zion Wilson of the New Orleans Pelicans. Um, Unfortunately, is going to have to go knee surgery because it was determined that he suffered a torn meniscus in his right knee. Now, they're immediately going to go into surgery, and he's expected to be out for 6 to 8 weeks. And it's really a bummer because we're about almost 24 hours away from the start of the 2019-2020 season. And now it comes out that Zion Williamson, injured his knee, which is a very, very, sad thing. You know, you don't want to see anybody get hurt or anything like that, but it is what it is. So here's my opinion to this. My opinion is that, you know, carrying all that weight on his knees cannot be healthy for him in the long run. Because the fact is, he's a very big guy, a very explosive athlete. But a lot of times, the body can only support so much muscle and weight for that long until your knees and your feet start to give out. And for an athletic guy like Zion Williamson, that's danger territory. So I'm sure this is going to be a wake up call for him to, start thinking about losing some weight, you know, probably reduce some of the muscle on his knees so he can basically, run around on the court more freely without carrying that much weight. But he's so explosive, you know what I mean? But it's unfortunate that we won't be able to see him tomorrow night. The Pelicans are scheduled to play against the defending champion at Toronto Raptors tomorrow night on TNT, but unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see him because of the knee injury. Now, it could be a blessing in disguise because it could get sent in the message loud and clear that he's going to have to be watchful about his weight and his body. Like I said before, the guy is 6'7", 285. Now, the bright side is he's only 19, so there's still a lot more room for improvement, obviously. But carrying all that weight as you get into your mid 20s cannot be healthy for you. Okay, I've seen Larry Johnson in his prime, the most explosive power forward I've seen during that period. But when he had the debilitating back injury during the 93-94 season, it took away his explosiveness, and he had to learn how to post up better and learn how to be more of a spot up shooter during the final stages of his career when he was in Charlotte and when he was in New York. Um, Bo Jackson, probably one of the greatest athletes ever in sports, but he had issues with his shoulder, with his leg, okay, and it really reduced his career at that point. So the one thing that Zion Williamson is going to have to be careful of, as he gets up in age and as he starts growing into his frame, is being mindful about how much his body can support that kind of weight. All that weight on his body cannot be healthy for him. And I do agree with Paul Pierce said last week. I think that it would be beneficial for him to start really checking out his diet. Making sure that he gets on an appropriate regimen that will actually help him reduce some of the weight on his body and basically allow him to run on the court freely and allow him to play a lot more games down the line. But hopefully he'll recover from this. And, I wish him nothing but the best on a speedy recovery because he's really a very talented player and a guy that could be the next generational talent in the NBA if he stays healthy. But that's going to be the big question on him. Can he stay healthy in the long run so that way he can be the best athlete he could be in the NBA? Because as LeBron James, slowly starts to exit from the league, they're going to need another guy to step into the fold. and Zion Williamson could be that guy. But barring injury, it may not be the case. But only time will tell. So, I wish nothing but the best for Zion Williamson in his speedy recovery. But obviously, that the New Orleans Pelicans are going to have to move on without Zion Williamson for at least a month or two. So I'm gonna be anxious to see how the Pelicans are going to adjust. Well, without Zion Williamson in the lineup. So that's my story to that. Okay. Now, another big story coming out of the NBA today. Um, Another big story coming out of the NBA as well, though, too. Um, Jaylen Brown signed a huge extension with the Boston Celtics. Okay. Now, the extent of the contract for him too, he agreed to a 4-year deal with $115 million with the Boston Celtics. Okay, so it's obvious to me that the Boston Celtics see something in Jaylen Brown that many others do not see. Now, I believe he's got very good upside, and he could be a very good player to help any team. Okay, but the Celtics right now are going to have to start restructuring their roster. Okay, because all those guys, the Marcus Smarts, the Jason Tatums, uh, the Jaylen Browns, and also keeping Gordon Hayward on the team, they're gonna have to start restructuring their roster a bit, okay? Because that core from a year ago did not work, okay? Because they were all trying to fight for minutes, and Terry Rozier was becoming much more of a problem than he should have been, and Kyrie Irving saw the writing on the wall, and he took his ball and left to Brooklyn. So it's obvious to me that Jaylen Brown is going to be a Celtic for a little while. And if I were the Celtics right now, I would really start considering trading Gordon Hayward because Gordon Hayward just does not fit to what the Celtics are trying to do right now, in my opinion, at least. I know that he's a guy. He was a Brad Stevens kind of guy because he helped lead Butler to the national championship game where they almost pulled out the upset against the Duke Blue Devils in 2010. But to be honest with you, I think that Gordon Hayward is going to become much more of a liability down the line than be a beneficial role player for the Boston Celtics. So we'll see what happens. And congratulations on Jaylen Brown for getting his contract extension, and we'll see how he performs. When the season starts. Okay. Now we got 2 games on the schedule for tomorrow. Obviously, we got the Pelicans versus the defending NBA champion Toronto Raptors. Oh, and speaking of the Raptors, salute to Ticket TV for putting out this information too. Now, what I also heard from the NBA streets is that Kawhi Leonard is pushing for Kyle Lowry to be traded to the Clippers for Patrick Beverley. Now, Patrick Beverley just recently signed an extension with the Clippers to stay here for a little while. And now it's coming out that Kawhi Leonard wants his point guard from a year ago to join with the team. Now, let me get some water for a bit so we can cook on this. Okay. Here's my point to this. I think, in my opinion, I think this is a very bad trade. Because, listen, I like Kyle Lowry, but he's way too inconsistent. Now, he did perform well in the NBA Finals. But let's be honest here. Who had the majority of the minutes during crunch time when the Raptors won the championship? Okay, Fred VanVleet. Who was making the big threes down the stretch during the playoffs? It was VanVleet. Okay, now I kind of understand why Kawhi would want his guy there because he trusts him more than maybe a Patrick Beverley can. But to be honest with you, I think Patrick Beverley is the perfect fit for them because he's a tenacious defender. He's very feisty. He's very competitive. He's very passionate. And he's the perfect complement to what the Clippers have right now. Okay. And I think Kyle Lowry's addition could probably ruin some of the chemistry on the team. Okay. Because Kyle Lowry, as good as he is in Toronto, he's way too inconsistent for my liking. There before Kawhi came, there were times where Kyle Lowry was missing in action. Okay, he had bad playoff games, and then he would come back and had good scoring performances, but then he would have 2 or 3 games where he just don't show up. Okay, and I don't know why Kawhi would be pushing for this, but if I were Patrick Beverley right now, I would not be happy about this because listen, you just signed a huge extension to stay here with the Clippers, which is a very smart decision. And now it comes out that that now he's on the trading block again, and the guy that just came in here, the superstar Kawhi Leonard, is pushing for that trade. I wouldn't like it at all. If I were Patrick Beverley right now, I'd be playing with a chip on the shoulder, and I would give Kawhi Leonard the look on his face like, "You better not trade me, because I will help you. I will help you in any way possible for this team." But we'll see what happens. But I would not want. I would not. If I were a Clippers fan, I would be against this trade. It would not be beneficial. So let's go ahead and check out the chat real quick. Hey, it's just boxing. What's going on there, brother? Hey, y'all subscribe to It's Just Boxing too. He's putting out good content though, man. I'm loving the stuff he's putting on. Marquise Johnson, what's going on, brother? E. Woodson, how you doing, my man? Thank y'all for tuning in. This is a bit of a late episode because I was supposed to go on Friday night, but I was out with family, so I couldn't make it to my slot though. So actually, it's a good slot to do it because we're about 24 hours away from the tip off of the new NBA season. So it's gonna be very interesting on the first day. But back to before I went to the Kyle Lowry stuff. Now to the games at hand. Tomorrow night. Obviously, we got the Pelicans taking on the defending champion Toronto Raptors, and then also on opening night we got the battle for Los Angeles between the LA Clippers versus the LA Lakers. Okay, two teams with championship aspirations. Okay, now here's my point on the Lakers. Okay, I am not in favor of the roster they assembled. Okay, I don't like Jared Dudley because I think Jared Dudley's going to be much more of a defensive liability because he can't defend anybody. Okay, he's too inconsistent with his jumper and he's too slow footed. I don't think he's going to be a beneficial player. And the fact is, they're trying to wait to see if the Memphis Grizzlies will allow Andre Iguodala to buy out of his contract, if there's no trade clause, and allow himself to be traded. But I don't see that happening. I don't see Iguodala leaving Memphis. I could probably see the Lakers probably take that B option route and sign Carmelo Anthony. Now, both these teams have high expectations, but I think that the Clippers are the better team, in my opinion, than the LA Lakers are. Now, obviously, you got both these teams have outstanding duos. The Lakers obviously have King James and Anthony Davis. And then the Clippers have two of the best two-way players in the game. You got Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. To me, I think the Clippers are much more of a sound team than the Lakers are, in my opinion, because they're a much better defensive team and they do a great job rebounding. Now, the Lakers can counter that with good guard play. But like I said before, they sometimes are too inconsistent, particularly when it comes to rebounding and low post defense. Okay. Dwight Howard, I'm telling you, Dwight Howard he just needs to retire for real. And by the way, can somebody please tell Dwight Howard to cut his hair and go back to the fade again? Like that, those dreads, bro. That's disgusting, man. I don't see that those dreads be possible, bro. Absolutely disgusting, man. Now, the point is this. I think that to me, I think the Lakers right now, they must get out to a great start to justify the roster that they have assembled right now. Okay? Because if they don't get out to a good start, you trust me what I tell you right now. The media is going to hound the Lakers on their every single move. Okay? And you can't use Anthony Davis as a scapegoat. Okay? All of it is going to fall on LeBron's hands because again, LeBron approved to every single move that it was made on the Lakers roster. Okay, but he couldn't use his influence to get Carmelo Anthony. And I'm going to get into Carmelo Anthony in a second because what they're doing to Carmelo Anthony is absolutely disgusting. Okay, here's the thing, man. The Lakers right now they're in a tough bind because they're in a very deep Western Conference where a lot of teams right now have playoff aspirations all over them. Okay, so they must get off to a good start. If they don't, I expect this team to really start crashing underneath themselves. Because these Laker fans, I'm telling you, if they see any sign of the Lakers struggling, I'm telling you right now, they're gonna protest outside of Staples and they're gonna want LeBron's head on a platter. All right. So there is no excuses now. Robert Stewart, what's going on, brother? Welcome to the show, man. How you doing? Let me fix this real quick. All right, there we go. Hey, the law's in the building. What's going on, Lawrence Williams? How you doing, man? Rob Stewart said, "Go Heat in the East." Well, I'll tell you what, the Heat do have a very nice squad together, but if they can somehow put some wins together, it could be compete for the last playoff spots. So let me get into the Carmelo Anthony stuff here, okay? Recently, it's come out that the reason why Carmelo Anthony has been being blackballed out of the league is because the Rockets are trying so hard to make sure that Carmelo Anthony doesn't get signed because they don't want Melo to come back against the Rockets and come back to bite them in a worse way. Now, the fact of the matter is this: Melo right now is deserving of an opportunity to play in any roster in the NBA. I know the Lakers could use him. I know the Nets could use him. I know the Blazers could use him. Okay, and let's go back last year. I bet you, Carmelo Anthony would even work well with the Warriors, considering the fact that of all the injuries that they were going through during the finals. Okay, but the fact of the matter is this: Melo right now is one of the biggest travesties in the NBA. Okay, there's no reason right now that this guy who's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer not to have an opportunity to play on an NBA roster. He did nothing wrong, but for some reason, Daryl Morey is playing a lot of politics out behind the scenes to make sure that Carmelo Anthony doesn't get signed. All right. Now, I've stood by Daryl Morey when it comes to the whole China situation, but when it comes to Melo, sorry, bro, I don't side with him with that. I think he's been an overrated general manager. Okay, saying that James Harden is the best player since Michael Jordan based off of your damn analytics. Get out of here with that, bro. Call me when James Harden starts playing defense and wins 6 championships. Oh, and last time I checked, you haven't even got past the conference finals yet. All right, so miss me with the whole notion with that. But the point is this: Melo right now is really being scapegoated. It's really not fair. This guy deserves an opportunity to play in the NBA. All right. He's won medals. He's been in multiple All-Star appearances. Okay. And I don't want to hear the excuse of, oh, he don't play defense in the NBA. All right. Oh, he don't play defense because, he doesn't stop people. Enough. How many players in the NBA right now play actual defense? In fact, the Clippers right now, all right, the Clippers right now have 2 players who are 2 of the best defenders in the NBA, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. 2 of them on one team. And you're mean to tell me that Carmelo Anthony can't have another opportunity because he don't play defense? Get out of here, bro. Stop getting in your feelings, executives, okay? This guy deserves a chance to play in the NBA. It's unbelievable what the NBA, what the executives have done to him. Okay, now Ticket TV put out a report that if the first option of getting Andre Iguodala does not work out, their Plan B option is getting Carmelo Anthony. If I were the Lakers right now, that getting Melo would be Plan A because I don't believe the Grizzlies are going to let Iggy out of his contract. All right. The fact of the matter is this: Melo deserves a chance, and you cannot prove me otherwise. There's no reason to prove it otherwise. And for all the players in the NBA right now to speak on Melo's behalf, and the fact that that LeBron James could have done something to bring him on the team and didn't, really is the ultimate act of hypocrisy. And I know there's a lot of other channels though too have not brought up on this. All right, so that's how I feel about that. All right, but let me go into the chat real quick as I get my water together. It's just boxing says it's a travesty that he's not on a team. Agreed. E wasn't said it makes you wonder. Agreed. And Ross Stewart says James Harden, WTF. Yeah, remember Daryl Morey said that James Harden was a better overall player than Michael Jordan. Really? Does your analytics support the fact that Michael Jordan won 6 championships? Was a defensive player of the year in 1988. All right, all defensive player. Let's see. Let me check the numbers. Let me check the awards and accomplishments of Michael Jordan. All right, I can easily Google this right now. Okay, let's see. He's a 10. He went to the NBA all first team 10 times. He was on the all defensive team for 9 times, and he was on a 4-year stretch from 88 to 93, which he was on the first. He was basically a first team all league defender. And when he came back, he went on 3 straight years where he was on the first team all defense. Okay, and like I said, he was also defensive player of the year in 1988. All right, 6 championships, 5 most valuable player awards. All right, call me when James Harden does anything with that. All right, Anthony Bolton, what's going on, brother? And Rob Stewart says, what's he smoking? He said, and now Anthony Bolton says, I have a question. Why are people attacking LeBron James more than they are attacking Daryl Morey? I mean, I know why, but I just wanted to say it. Now, that's a very good question, Mr. Bolton, and you're very entitled to that. Now, if you're talking about the China incident, that's a different subject because the China thing is because LeBron James tried to push for Daryl Morey's punishment, but the commissioner couldn't because Daryl Morey did not say anything malicious. He was using his First Amendment rights, and because LeBron James speaks on political issues all the time, that would be the ultimate act of hypocrisy, and that would have cost the NBA millions. Now, if you're talking about in terms of LeBron James bringing players in, okay, now I do believe that LeBron James has tried behind the scenes to get Carmelo Anthony to come in for the Lakers, okay? That I do believe to a certain extent. But when you have the influence like LeBron James, and when executives come in there, they're calling you every single day, asking you to approve this move or that move or this move or that move, and the conversation of Carmelo Anthony does not come out of those phone calls, to me, is complete ridiculousness. Okay. Now, I believe Daryl Morey is doing a lot more to hurt Carmelo Anthony's legacy because for whatever reason, he just felt that Melo did not play up to his personal expectations of the team. Okay. Now, I believe that Daryl Morey down the line is going to see the writing on the wall because you could use all the computers and all the statistics, all the analytics in the world, but you can't measure a guy's heart, will, desire, and determination on a basketball court. Those are the things you look for when you're trying to win championships, okay? Does your analytics show that your team does not play much defense, that they always chucking up threes, they don't take mid-range shots, okay? They don't adjust their game a lot, all right? And please miss me with the whole notion that Mike D'Antoni is the best coach in the NBA, which he's not. He don't preach defense. He hasn't even won a championship with his system. So at the end of the day, man, I think more of it has to do on Daryl Moore's, political rhetoric behind the scenes on Melo. But like I said, on terms of the China issue, I have to side with Daryl Morey on that particular issue because, again, he didn't say anything malicious. What he did was he brought up an issue that needed to be addressed. Now, he may be passionate about it. He may be not. I believe he's passionate about it. But the fact is that LeBron James played double standard advocacy by trying to force the punishment on Daryl Morey, and the commissioners couldn't do it because it would basically be in a violation of the First Amendment rights. Okay, and Daryl Morey could sue the NBA for that and win, and he would gain millions of dollars because the NBA would have to be forced into a settlement, just like how the NFL was forced into a settlement with Colin Kaepernick because he had evidence to prove that the owners were colluding to get this guy out of the league. Okay, and by the way, for Thursday night, I'm going to get into why the NBA favors free speech over the NFL. So today's tune in to Thursday night, 8 p.m. Central Time on my channel. We're going to go into that, okay? But the fact of the matter is this. Melo deserves a chance to play in the NBA, and everybody knows this, all right? The truth of the matter is this. I think the whole notion that uh, that the whole notion to me about LeBron James, uh, playing double standard advocate is a bit accurate, but the whole notion that he's selling out is a bit too far. I'm not going to call LeBron James a sellout because he's done a lot more good in the NBA and in his community than bad. All right. But he chose the wrong time to touch upon an issue that he had no familiarity, no understanding of. And even if he did had any understanding, it would have been just best for him to not say anything, to try to keep his name out of it. That's all. Now, I hope that answers your question, Anthony Bolton. I know I went on an tangent there, but I was trying to make sure to answer your questions to the best of my knowledge. All right. Rob Stewart says exactly. It's just Boxing says Houston Rockets can use Mark Madsen, another person who's been blackballed from the NBA. Well, with Mark Jackson, that's a different ballgame. Now, Mark Jackson, to me, there's a lot of stuff about Mark Jackson behind the scenes that is really troubling. He was the type of guy who's a bit of a double standard type of person. He basically was a guy that wanted to control everything, and he wasn't willing. He was a guy that wasn't willing to listen to executives a lot, but also there was also some rumors that he was basically you know you know verbally abusing people within the organization, and he basically restricted people from coming into these practices. So he's the type of guy that I would give some second thought, but he does deserve a chance because he's the type of guy that he can help restructure the culture of your team. But is he a guy that can help you win a championship? To me, I don't think so, because I just think his isolation type system, what he tried to do with the Warriors, won't work in the long run. You feel me? Now, let me ask you guys this question. Would he have allowed Draymond Green to be the player that he is now? Okay? Because remember, when Mark Jackson was coaching the Warriors, Draymond Green was almost out of the league. Okay? Because it's just Boxer said he built the Golden State Warriors. I agree. I definitely agree. I do agree that he helped build the foundation for his team. But there's several flaws in Mark Jackson. One, would he have allowed Draymond Green to develop into the player that he is now? Basically a versatile power forward who can bring the ball up the court, be the orchestrator of the defense, and basically, be the emotional leader of the team. I don't know to be certain. And the top of that, remember, Klay Thompson was also coming off the bench over Andre Iguodala. Would he have allowed Klay Thompson to come to start on his team? He would say yes, but back then Klay Thompson was an unproven prospect at that time. So that is yet to be seen. But I definitely agree that he deserves another opportunity because he's the type of guy that will add discipline and structure and provide you direction of where a franchise should go. So yes, I do agree he deserves another chance. The Rockets, I think it would be too complicated for. He would have to be in a situation where there's still some young talent and guys that'll be willing to listen. I don't know if James Harden would be willing to subject himself to a personality like Mark Jackson, in my opinion. And I know Russell Westbrook is a very strong-willed personality, so I don't know if that if that dynamic would really work in the long run, in my opinion, at least. Now, could it work there? Is yet to be seen. I hope I'm wrong, but I just don't see it to be possible. Okay, so and Anthony Bolton says, I like Mark Jackson a little bit more than Steve Kerr, but Draymond Green would not be there if he be the player he was if he is with Mark Jackson. Ask coach if he would be more player of a role player because David Lee was there. Right. Good point there, Anthony Bolton. And David Lee was also starting for the team over Draymond Green. So, and also and like I said, there was a time where Draymond Green was going to be out of the league too because Mark Jackson wasn't giving him was rarely giving him any minutes, and was basically putting him as a small forward than a power forward. Now, the fact is, if Steve Kerr didn't come in and allowed Klay Thompson to start and allowed Draymond Green to play in his power forward position, I don't know if the Warriors would be the champions that they were under the destruction of Mark Jackson. That, yes, to me, I think that the firing, even though it was wrong from the outside, it was much more of a necessary thing in my opinion. But I just think that Mark Jackson deserves another chance. I think I think a team maybe with the Pelicans could be a good fit for him, not the Knicks because the Knicks are a mess, and I'm gonna get into the Knicks in a minute. But I think him with in Minnesota would be a good fit too to really get that team back on track and hopefully unlock the potential talent of Andrew Wiggins because I'm gonna tell you right now, living in Minnesota, Andrew Wiggins is really pissing me off. All right. The guy puts up numbers, but he's not consistent, and he's just a type of guy that just doesn't care. And we get the Timberwolves gave him a huge amount of money and they should have given it to Jimmy Butler. And what happened to it? Jimmy Butler basically, attitude his way out of Minnesota because he challenged both Carl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins' manhood, and boy, that was embarrassing. To tell you that much. So I'm gonna get into the last segment here, and then I'm gonna get out of here because I know 78 is gonna go on in 20 minutes. Okay. I'm gonna tell you this: the New York Knicks right now, I think David Fizdale is not the right coach for the Knicks. Okay, Mike Knox this year has not been used properly, in my opinion. Okay, now RJ Barrett has been impressive to me, and I think he's gonna have a phenomenal rookie year. But the team that they have right now is just fundamentally flawed right now. All right. I don't see the Knicks going anywhere. I think they're going to be the same old losing Knicks like they were the last couple of seasons. And I don't see any directions from this team for a while. Unless if James Dolan can finally just suck up his pride and do the one thing that Knicks fans have been begging him to do, and that is sell the basketball team. But that will never happen because there's not a strong figure out there that's going to force James Dolan to sell the team. All right. Now, the way I look at the Knicks right now, I think there could probably be, lower tier in the pack there, but I think that the Knicks right now they got some good young pieces around them, but they're just a team that is just not gonna, they're not gonna do much with it. And Dennis Smith Jr. is a very underrated talent. I just think he's just not in a good position to, show what he's capable of. Now he's getting an opportunity to start, but in a big market city like the New York Knicks right now, where you have the Brooklyn Nets with three superstars on one team, not looking good, man. Just not looking good. The New York Knicks are the JV team, while the Brooklyn Nets are the big time varsity team in the NBA right now. It's embarrassing. All right. It's absolutely embarrassing. How do you let Kevin Durant slip from underneath your fingers? You had all the salary cap to get Kevin Durant, and you failed at it. Sorry, New York fans. The Knicks are never going to be the same old Knicks ever again. And that's all I got to say about that. Whew. There was some good topic to discuss about. But I'm excited for tomorrow, guys. I'm excited for NBA basketball. It's finally back, okay? And my Minnesota Vikings right now, they're 5-2. They've won 3 straight, and hopefully you know that uh that the Vikings can do well. Now, Anthony Bolton says, "I never thought that Mark Jackson would be excellent at Minnesota. He will help Wiggins a lot, but he would also help Big Cat as well. Carl Anthony Towns under Mark Jackson would be an MVP player. I do agree. I think to me, the Timberwolves need a coach like a Mark Jackson, somebody that can probably relate to the players a little bit better, and probably put a direction and purpose to where the franchise needs to go. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, we have been starving for playoff legitimacy for a while. We made the playoffs 2 years ago, but it was basically because Jimmy Butler carried the load until his knees gave out. Okay, if the Timberwolves are going to get to where they want to go, it has to be on the shoulders of Carl Anthony Towns. All right, I don't trust Andrew Wiggins to save my life. And I've seen enough Andrew Wiggins to realize that this guy is not it. Okay, y'all hold on one second. Okay, I'm back. So I do think that Mark Jackson could be a good fit in Minnesota. Okay, now I think he could also be a good fit in Orlando. Just with a team that's basically with some good young talent that just needs some direction in there too. But with an established team or a contender, I don't think it would be the best ideal fit for him, in my opinion, at least. Okay. So that's what I gotta say about it, guys. But it's been a great episode here, guys. I once again I apologize for missing out though from Friday, but we'll be back Friday at normal time with more episodes of Basketball Conversations. We're gonna review the first week of the NBA season, go through all the games and analysis stuff. But tomorrow we start a new season of NBA basketball, and we're gonna see a lot of different storylines. New stars emerging. Who are going to be the contenders or the pretenders? It's going to be off the chain. So, everybody, put your seatbelts on. Get ready because it's going to be a wild ride towards the NBA Finals. All right. So, I want to go ahead and shut it down for now. But y'all will see me Friday night with episode 7 of Basketball Conversations. We're about 10 episodes. We're about 3 away from episode number 10, which is a very good milestone for this small channel. It is slowly growing with each passing day. All right. And also, my condolences to the family of Patrick Day. Rest in peace, and let's do what we can to support the man. All right. So, with that being said, thank y'all for tuning in to Basketball Conversations on MehariNation Sports Podcast. Salute to the entire LDBC, and we out. Have a good night, guys.